And welcome back to the last segment of the News Reviews Power Breakfast Show this morning. We had quite an animated discussion during the break, and one thing came out clear. We all need to be sincere, be it parents as the society, be it the government, and be it managers of schools, so that we can be able to solve some of these problems that we are having in the education sector. But moving on swiftly, page 6 of the Standard, hold talks. Now, European Union House tells Uhuru and Raila. Parliamentarians in the European Union Parliament say the political difference between the two, that is in Kenya, and their supporters could lead to a crisis. They are now calling for President Uhuru Kenyatta to hold dialogue with opposition chief Raila Odinga. This is the discussion that dominated a special session that was held in the European Union Parliament to deliberate on the political situation in the country, as they were talking about the Election Observer Mission report. Sabina,
yes.
Hold talks. The last time the president was in public, he said, any talks we are having now, 2022. For now, we are running the government.
And I support him. You see, I like the photo.
Our partners are saying,
yes,
hold talks. Otherwise, you are approaching a crisis.
I don't think we're in any crisis. I like the photo on this page 6, and you can see both the president and Honorable Raila.
If my director could just give me that shot, I think it's a very interesting.
It's a very interesting photo.
Page 6, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. Very nice photo there.
Look at them, those two gentlemen. They are smiling. They are friends, and you can see the body language. I think sometimes they hoodwink us, because I think these people do business together. These people, when they have family issues, they come together. So what talks? I think when they are having their drinks, they can hold the talks and stop bringing the confusion to Kenya. Right now, Kenyans are tired. I think we campaigned for more than 1 year, and I think from the time we got into the 11th Parliament, these people kept us on our toes, and we have been politicking. And I think Kenyans are tired. What we need to do is have solutions. We should be sitting with Gladys Wanga and working on the way we can be able to help people back home. Strangely,
you people sit.
We do.
We are privy to that.
And we should be. I should be going to Wanga's constituency. Should be coming to my constituency, so that we make sure that the Muranga people who voted for me, they benefit from my leadership. And I think politics. Personally, I'm tired, and I think Kenyans are tired. These talks, we are sure Uhuru and Ruto, they normally talk, and so and Raila, they normally talk, and so we don't need the Wazungu to come and tell us to talk. What we need to do now is to look at the development of this nation, look at the quick wins, and we work together. And I respect Honorable Raila Odinga, and I think he's a statesman, and I think he's one person who should be given a role by the government now to actually come advise us. He's fought for the second liberation. He should come and mentor the young politicians who are coming up. And I think the drama and the struggle of who leads, it's not about who leads, but what value do you give to this nation? It's not about who is at the top, but it's about what can you do for this nation. And because they are friends, let them sort out without us knowing. As we want to move on as a nation, we are not interested on everything that is now being discussed. And I think also the media gives a lot of attention to us as politicians. You need now to start writing stories like what you have done on education, the issues about farmers, the issues about our economy, and I think that's kind of the discussion that we need to be having.
You cannot separate politics from development.
But we did an election, we went back again, we did in the history of Africa, and I think in Kenya
one half of the country does not believe it was free and fair, and that's the basis upon which they want these talks held. The other half feels we are through with elections, done and dusted, let's move on.
I can tell you, even if Wanga would be sincere, she would tell you it's not about one half. Yes, you cannot impress everybody, and you know you're not liked by everybody, so it's not, there's no day that all Kenyans will agree. Will not ever get that day.
I'll come back to you.
We'll always have people who feel that this was not fair on their side. But what happens? Let's move on.
Mheshimiwa Wanga, let's move on.
Yeah, well, I think it's this condescending attitude that feeds the struggle. It is this condescending attitude that keeps us going within the struggle and keeps us really sure that this country truly needs electoral reforms. We are not accepting. We are not moving on. That was in the other years. And you know, when Mheshimiwa Sabina says, you know, these guys should sit over a drink, and it is really trivializing very, very serious issues. A majority of this country, from where I sit, do not believe in the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta or that he won the election. And you know what the EU are saying about talking? There's always room within a country for people to talk and to dialogue and to sit seriously over issues and move to try and move the country forward so that we are bringing everybody along. You know, Mheshimiwa Sabina and maybe her constituents might have moved on, but you know that is not Kenya entirely, you know. So a good leader would look at a way of trying to bring everyone else along with him, and this is why probably the EU are talking about dialogue. But what we are saying also from our point of view is, why would we be begging for dialogue? Why? Why would Jubilee come up and say, we don't want to talk to anybody? And that is why even us, we are saying, we will proceed with Raila Odinga as our president and move on with him, and we will swear him in, and we will move on with a parallel government. And if Kenya...
Is that acceptable within the law?
Well, of course. Because
the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, at the moment, has the instruments of power.
Article 1 of the Constitution gives us the right to self-determination as a people. It says the sovereignty of the nation is vested with the people. We can donate it to our elected leaders or not. And so now we choose not to donate.
The Constitution also prescribes, I'll come to Mheshimiwa Chege, the Constitution, Mheshimiwa Wanga, also prescribes ways upon which the instruments of power and leadership of the country should be used.
No, what we are saying is this. We, as the people, are supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga. We are not donating our sovereignty to anybody else. We want to do it directly. And that is why we are having the people's assemblies. And that is why we are having, you know, because we don't feel our aspirations are captured. Yeah.
I get the point. Sabina, even as we respond to that,
yes.
A quick look at the European Union report that led to this debate in their parliament. The EU Observer Mission says there is urgent electoral reforms, need for electoral reforms to secure Kenya's future elections. Through the chief observer, they say the mission had 29 recommendations to Kenya's election so that it's more credible and transparent. And then they say key recommendations include reforms aimed at improving the resilience of independent institutions. Now, we cannot wish this away because these are our very important partners in development.
Yes,
why would they only be of value when it comes to development and not when it comes to advice?
It is okay for them to advise, and I think when I said that, and that's why I refer to this photo, because the assumption is that His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable Raila Odinga, they don't hold talks or they don't talk at all. That is the assumption, and that's why I said these two gentlemen, they know the solution, they can hold and they can do this. When Wanga says they are going to have the people's president, I wonder whether we are not people, because majority of Kenyans voted for Uhuru Kenyatta, and there's no way as a nation we can say one person.
They have an opposition to that. They say, according to the election that was cancelled in August, majority of Kenyans voted for Raila Odinga.
Which is of course.
And they're asking that open the server so that we know the truth.
Exactly. And that's why I've said this is, we are doing like the musical chairs. Because when we went to August, and I think the Supreme Court, Maraga, they had no issue with the numbers. Or they said the process, and they said repeat the elections. What happened to the NASA people? They went ahead and told their people don't go and vote, and actually the people who wanted to vote, and especially in Nairobi and most of the areas, they were locked out from voting. And I think if they were sincere enough, they would have allowed their people to go and vote. They would have allowed Kenyans to go and vote, and then say this is where they normally came in the second election. But now people decide we want to go back, then halfway they retreat, they don't want to vote. You know, we cannot hold this nation because of a few individuals. And I think, as I said, a lot of even NASA supporters, and I'm not only saying Jubilee, even NASA supporters, they are tired of the politics. They want to see deliverables.
I think you can only speak for yourself on that matter of being tired.
And I can tell you,
on that matter you can only speak for yourself about being tired.
Wanga,
feeling the tiredness.
No, Wanga, you know, because you know sometimes we do things to impress the people who vote for us. But if you are sincere with ourselves,
and if the people are tired, they will not be impressed.
For sure, and I said,
For as long as they have the
not only in
resilience, they'll
Kenya,
be
not
impressed.
only in Kenya, but even across the world, we have never had one leader who is supported by everybody. It can never happen. There are people, even in life, who will not be liked by everybody. But what is the easiest way to go? What I'm asking Wanga, and I would really like to know about this swearing in, because we had the Bunge la Wananchi, they have their president, they actually went and the guy was sworn in, and life goes on. I think this threatening of swearing in of Raila Amolo Odinga, I don't know what structures they have. It is not constitutional. It is not according to the laws of Kenya. It is actually not right. So if they say they'll go ahead, I would like to know maybe how and what structures they're going to work with. And if they have said they want
is
to...
It constitutional that, is it constitutional that the people of Kenya can take up whatever powers they abrogate to other institutions?
I don't think so. And if,
they can exercise their powers directly?
And if they
that
go
is
that
the Constitution.
If they go that kind of directly, then I expect Honorable Wanga, because she was given the power by the people to represent them into Parliament, to actually resign, not just sign some funny document, resign and say, I've taken back the power to the people. And I expect the county assemblies that are going the people's way, or the MCAs to resign and say, we have given back the power to the people. So
Mheshimiwa, how do you respond to that? If you want to give the power to the people directly, resign. Give it back to the people.
You know, there are various levels of government. My position is one, the presidency is another. People can donate power to me and not donate to another leader at another level. That is very possible. So I think that is neither here nor there. Not that even resignation is difficult, you know. But it cannot be said that if you want to donate your powers as far as the presidency is concerned elsewhere, then you have to remove all the powers you have donated to other officials you have elected if you feel that those you have elected democratically. So I do not think that we should be put in that corner. I think that is a tired argument.
Ladies in Parliament, you people were in the last Parliament, you people are in the current Parliament.
Yeah.
I know you as parliamentarians, you talk. When it comes to issues of mutual interest, you come together. Do you have the interest of Kenyans at heart, honestly speaking?
Yes, we do. And one thing,
if you do, how come you can't come together as
I
mutual
want
interest?
to challenge
And
Wanga.
as lieutenants for the two, push them to find a solution.
I want to challenge Wanga. Maybe she was lucky because her party gave her a direct ticket. She was not
No, I was unopposed.
Sorry.
I mean, yes, she was unopposed because you know the things that happen behind the scenes.
No.
That you are protected.
Let me clear that.
It's important.
Let me clear this issue. I was not given a direct nomination preventing other women from running against me. The position was declared open. Nobody else ran for it. And therefore, I was unopposed, not for anything else behind the scenes. It is because
of intimidation that no one would dare try.
I didn't intimidate
anyway,
anybody.
let's move on. All I was saying, through my experience, I had an opponent, actually from the nominations and now to the final elections. And if the person who ran against me decided that I was not worth, or because even her, she had her followers, and if that person decides now they want to do a people's government, or they want to do a coup, and decide now she's also going to be sworn in to become the women representative of Murang'a, because she had 100,000 voters who also voted for her. Would it be fair? Then that means this country become unmanageable, because everybody had an opponent. So if anybody who lost the election decides, then I also want to now give the people the power.
I want to ask you a question, ladies, because we need to move on. Sabina, I start with you.
Yes.
Is there concern about the unity of Kenya as we speak?
Yes, there is.
How is the best way to address it?
It's for us as leaders to look at the best interest of this nation and agree to move on.
Look at the best interest of the nation and agree to move on.
Yes.
One of the best interests of the nation has been the issue of election. One section of the country feels it's not transparent. Do you think there is need to listen to them?
We are listening. And there is a process. If there is need that we need to change the law in Parliament, we have the parliamentarians. We have to sit down and amend the law if need be. But we cannot be amending the law to suit us, because this time I'll be there in position, tomorrow I'll not be there. So if I change the law to suit me today, tomorrow Wanga might be on government, and so she would like to be treated equally. It's good to treat other people that you'd like to be treated when you're in power. And I think we have a new constitution that brought a little bit of confusion, but now we are understanding it slowly by slowly. And let's forge ahead. I'm only saying we have been politicking for a very long time.
Mheshimiwa Wanga, is there a need to unify the country?
I think there's immense need.
How do we do it?
I think we must address the fundamental issues affecting this country.
Within the legal framework?
And not glossing over them. We must address the issue of electoral reforms. And this issue that we lost election, we didn't. I think it is important for Sabina to note, and of course Kenyans know, that even Chebukati himself said that he was not able to guarantee a free and fair process on the 26th.
And then later on he came up and said, now I can't guarantee.
He made it public 9 days to elections that he was unable to guarantee a credible process. And many people, and even this issue Mheshimiwa is raising around changing laws to suit you. You know, this is hypocrisy. Why? Because a few days to elections, Jubilee went to Parliament and bullied through changes to the law to suit them, including saying that the chairman can be anybody. Very narrow-minded laws that were actually taking this country in the wrong direction. I think, Charles, we have to all agree that there are fundamental issues that we are raising around issues of election, the way these elections were conducted, whether they were actually fair. We are raising issues that these elections on 8th and on 26th were rigged. They were not credible. So
and they're saying, bring the reforms to Parliament, the body mandated to make laws, so that we address these issues. I think it is important. You know, before we went to elections in 2016, in 2017, in 2016, we had a bipartisan process. That bipartisan process did not arise from Parliament itself. It arose from consensus outside, and then after that consensus, Parliament now did whatever it did. And NASA has said that there is no day we can say we are not ready to have discussions, but we must have discussions on the things that we feel really matter. Electoral reforms being one of those key issues, and addressing the issues of electoral theft, you know, and so on. So these are the issues that if we can talk about and see, and then also the issue of inclusivity, all Kenyans feeling part of Kenya and not other Kenyans feeling like they are more Kenyans than others. And this is what brings into play the issue of secession. You know that we've had very serious debate around secession. In fact, the coast have even begun the secession process because some Kenyans feel they are more Kenyans than others. They keep throwing it at us that you have to accept, you have to move on. We are tired. I am not tired. You know, Mheshimiwa Sabina cannot talk for me about being tired. My supporters in Homa Bay, even if you ask them now, they are not tired.
You have
my supporters
them,
no, they are inciting me. I'm not even inciting them.
I have seen Sabina in
my supporters are inciting me. I'm not inciting them.
I have seen the roads. I've seen what NOS went and did there. I've seen the super highway in Kisumu. I've gone to Mombasa. The roads now are clear. I drove from the airport. You're taking very few minutes to get to the Mombasa town. Then what would the people complain about? This government has really...
It's not just about roads.
I'm saying we have tried to reach to everybody. But when we have leaders like Wanga, who keep on inciting the people, even when the development is done to their area, they go and destroy because it was done, because they have gotten incitement from the leaders. I think that's what I'm saying.
True.
We need to be...
What are the qualities of a good leader?
The quality of, you have interest of your people at heart and not your own selfish interest. And I think what we have done as a country, not only in politics, we are very selfish. If it's about me, if it's not my way, you take the highway.
Does that cut across the board?
Yes,
from the presidency all the way to the voter?
It does, and I think we need to really do a personal search for all of us. We need to drop our selfish interest and look at the interests of this nation, and actually not just for us, for the future generation.
Ladies, let's wind up. You're closing the match.
Let me tell you, Charles,
we can go on and on about that.
Let me tell you the truth of this matter on electoral justice. It is the people's project. It is not even the leader's project. If you see people chasing Right Honorable Raila with a Bible everywhere he goes, they come chasing him.
To be
sworn in there and then. It means the project of electoral justice and ensuring this country, every vote is counted.
Is selfishness our problem, the way Sabina says?
I think to an extent.
And she agrees that it cuts across from the presidency to the vote.
To an extent, but we need to contextualize it. The context in which she's putting it, or in which she's bringing that example, is wrong. She's saying that all these things around electoral justice is a selfish issue of the leaders. And this is why I'm trying to tell you that this is a project of the people. And there is no way. In fact, if you are the leader and you're standing in the way of this project, you are the one. It is no longer about Raila Amolo Odinga. If he is the one standing in the way of this electoral justice quest, he is the one who will be put aside, and the people will continue. So really, it is a place where people have come and said, enough is enough. There is no accepting and moving on, Charles.
Sabina, your closing remarks.
This
can go on and on.
I know. I just want to tell Kenyans that we need to, and I want to repeat, move on. We need to support each other. We need to forge unity, and let's have, first of all, interest of others before we look at ourselves. When we talk about the swearing in and everything else, let's ask, is this the best thing to do? If it's not, let's drop it. Let's look what is the best interest of Kenyans.
Have you ever heard the story of the person sleeping angry and being bitten by mosquitoes, and the one who was fed and is being bitten by mosquitoes?
Yes, I've heard. But at the end of the day, what I want to say is this. I have a duty to serve the people of Murang'a and to serve Kenyans. I'm now in the health sector. I'm open to ideas and consult with Wanga and the rest of the team. I would be interested to see Wanga coming in and telling me, in my area, this is what we want to focus on in health, so that we can work together. I'm looking forward for Wanga to come to my county and also go to her county. As women, we support each other. And we should not bring any political differences. And I think for now, Kenyans are paying taxes. There are issues. There are people who have their goods at the port that they cannot clear because last year the business was very bad. We need to look at those things, see how we can waiver and allow those people to pay the duty and just go on with their businesses. Let's move on.
Mheshimiwa Wanga, your closing remarks.
Well, I have said it before that there's no room for accepting, there's no room for moving on. We are going to stand with our people in the quest for electoral reforms. Come rain, come sunshine. And I think I would just ask, and Mheshimiwa Sabina had asked earlier, where are you going to go with this swearing in? Watch this space.
Watch this space, because up next we are going to eat with Chef Ali and Willie Sapuru. But like the Bible says, if you do not work, you should not eat. And that is why Joy will be having a very interesting interview with a young man who decided, look, I'm not going to wait for the politicians to do it for me. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to earn a living so that I'm able to eat. Up next after the break. Power Breakfast continues. My name is Charles Odhiambo. Thank you very much to my guests, Mheshimiwa Gladys Wanga and Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege. Let's do this again tomorrow.